Story 1. I was supposed to be asleep. That was the deal I made with myself when I booked the motel. Get off the road by 9, grab some food from the vending machine, and knock out for a few hours before continuing the drive home. But I wasn't asleep. I was lying there, staring at the ceiling, in a room that felt colder than it should have. I'd turned off the wall AC, but the air still felt stale, almost damp, like something had been festering in the corners too long. The place had that weird motel smell, cheap bleach mixed with something darker, like rust or old sweat. I wasn't even scared at first. I've traveled alone before, stayed in worse. But this room, there was something off about it. I just couldn't name what. The lock on the door was one of those old slide bolts that barely line up. I'd wedged a chair under the handle for extra measure. I had done everything right, but at around midnight, I heard the knob turn. Not rattle, turn, like someone already had a key. My body went rigid, breath locked inside my chest. The chair didn't move. The bolt held. The door didn't open, but someone on the other side tried. Quietly, deliberately. I waited, didn't move, didn't even grab my phone. I just stared at the door, watching it almost expectantly. The knob turned once more, slowly, like whoever it was waiting for me to answer or react. Then, nothing. Total silence. I sat there frozen for what felt like 10 minutes, maybe more. I finally built up the courage to crawl to the door and press my eye to the peephole, but it was black, not dark, black, like something was covering the other side. I pulled back instantly. I don't know why, but it felt like something was watching me even through the hole. I spent the rest of the night wide awake, back pressed against the headboard, my car keys in one hand, and the tiny motel knife I kept from dinner in the other. Nobody came back. No sound, no knocking, nothing. By morning, I was almost convinced that it had been a dream. Almost. When I went to the front desk to check out, I casually mentioned the door handle turning during the night. The woman behind the desk froze. She looked older, tired, like someone who'd stopped caring long ago. But in that moment, her face changed. She asked what room I was in. I told her, room 12. She stared at her computer for a moment, then back at me. That room's not supposed to be in use, she said quietly. We haven't rented it in months. I laughed, assuming she was joking. Well, someone gave me the key. I checked in around 8 last night. Guy with a long gray ponytail, smelled like cigarettes. Her face drained of all color. Rick's been gone almost a year. I didn't know what to say. I pulled the key from my pocket and placed it on the counter. She didn't touch it, just looked at it like it might bite her. Then she picked up the phone and called someone, her voice barely a whisper. Room 12, she said. Someone stayed there last night. Again, I stood there in disbelief. She hung up, looked me in the eyes, and said the words that still haunt me. You should leave, and don't come back. I wanted to ask questions. I wanted to understand what the hell had just happened, but the look on her face told me I didn't want the answers. I walked out, got in my car, and started driving. I didn't stop until I was 3 states away. That night, I checked into another hotel. This one clean, bright, normal, but something still felt off. When I turned the corner to go to my room, the cleaning lady walked past me and smiled politely. But then she stopped, turned, and said, "Weren't you in room 12 last night?" I froze. I didn't say yes. I didn't say anything. I just kept walking, pretending I didn't hear her. I didn't tell anyone what happened until weeks later. Not because I was scared they wouldn't believe me. Honestly, I wasn't sure I believed it myself, but because talking about it made it real. I kept that secret like a bruise, hidden just beneath the surface, tender to the touch. But the strangest thing wasn't what happened at the motel. It was what started happening afterward. I couldn't sleep. Not the usual tossing and turning kind. I mean real insomnia. Like something inside me refused to shut down. And when I did finally pass out from exhaustion, I had the same dream every time. I'd be lying in that same motel bed, in room 12, the door slowly creaking open and a figure standing in the doorway. Tall, wrong somehow, like his limbs didn't bend the right way. His face was always hidden in shadow, but I could feel his eyes, watching, smiling. One night, I woke up to find my own bedroom door slightly open. I always close it. Always. I live alone. I locked it the night before. I was sure of it. I didn't hear anything. No footsteps, no creaks. But when I got up and looked down the hallway, the front door chain was dangling like it had just been unlatched. I searched the whole apartment. Nothing was missing. Nothing was out of place. Except me. I didn't feel like myself anymore. I became obsessed. I went back online and searched every thread, every forum looking for that motel. I wanted to prove it to myself that something was wrong, that I hadn't imagined it. And I found something. Not much, but enough. An old Reddit post from 6 years ago. The title was simple: "Do not stay in room 12." It had 3 upvotes, no comments, just one paragraph. Room 12 at the Seabird Motel. Do not go there. If you wake up and the door's open, don't move. Don't breathe. Pretend you're still asleep. If you lock the door and someone still gets in, leave and never talk about it again. My hands were shaking. I tried to respond to the post, but the account was deleted. Gone. Scrubbed. It was like the warning was left for someone specific. Maybe even for me. I should have stopped there, I know, but I didn't. I called the Seabird Motel, pretending to be someone else. The number rang 7 times, then disconnected. I tried again the next day. This time, it rang once, then went to a robotic message. This number is no longer in service. I drove back. Yeah, I know how that sounds, but I had to know. I needed to see it again, to face it in daylight. It was like something was unfinished, like whatever had opened that door hadn't finished what it came to do. When I pulled into the parking lot, it looked abandoned. Faded sign, busted windows, no cars in the lot. But room 12's curtain, it was moving. Just barely, like a breeze was pushing it from inside. I walked up slowly. Every part of my body told me to turn around, but I didn't. I knocked on the door. No answer. I tried the handle. Locked. I looked through the dusty window and froze. The room was trashed. Torn mattress, broken lamp, and mold on the ceiling. But the scariest thing wasn't the room. It was the picture on the wall. A framed print. Cheap motel art. Except this one had something extra. A smudge. A dark fingerprint pressed against the inside of the glass. And behind it, a face. My face. I swear to God, it looked like me. Faint, blurry, like someone had taken a photo of me sleeping and burned it into the image. I stumbled back. My hands were shaking so badly, I dropped my phone. When I picked it up to take a picture, .it was gone. The window was empty. The curtain still. The face vanished. I didn't go back to the car right away. I just stood there, listening. And that's when I heard the door behind me creak open. Not room 12, room 13. I turned, slowly. The door was half open, and nothing was inside but black. And I swear, something whispered. Not a voice, not exactly, but a feeling. Like it knew it. Like it had waited. It wanted me to step inside and close the door behind me. I didn't. I ran. Got in my car. Floored it. Didn't look back once. That night I slept with every light on. I've moved apartments since. New locks, new door, new city. But sometimes, when I close my eyes, I hear the knob turn. Just once. Slowly. Like someone already has the key. Story 2. It started with the kind of night I usually love. Quiet, uneventful, and wrapped in the soft comfort of routine. I had just come home from work, changed into sweatpants, microwaved leftover lasagna, and curled up on the couch with my dog Marley. The air was cool outside, The television was humming softly with reruns, and nothing felt out of place until my phone rang. It was 8:47 p.m. I remember the exact time because I glanced at the digital clock above the microwave when the ringtone startled me. I didn't recognize the number. The area code wasn't even local. Normally, I wouldn't answer, but something nudged me to pick up. Hello? There was silence for a few seconds, long enough for my heart to start doing that weird little tap dance it does when something just feels off. Then a voice came through. A woman's voice. Soft. Fragile. Please don't hang up. I sat up a little straighter. Who is this? I don't have time to explain, she whispered, but I need you to listen to me. They're watching. They're here right now and I don't know who to call. I chose you. You picked up. That's enough. I froze. This felt like some kind of prank, a TikTok challenge or some horror story radio show. But her voice.it was trembling. Not the kind of trembling you fake. The kind that comes from someone who knows they're close to dying. Who's watching you? I asked, suddenly serious. They wear masks, she said quickly, voice cracking. White masks. Not ski masks. Not Halloween masks. Plain, smooth, expressionless. And they're not breaking in. They're just standing outside, watching. No weapons, no noise. Just watching me. Call the police, I said, getting up off the couch. My heart was pounding now. Marley barked, sensing my shift in energy. I tried, she breathed. The line went dead the second I said the word help. But this call, it's staying on. I don't know why. I don't even know you, but please, stay with me. I couldn't hang up. Something in her voice felt too real. Where are you? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? They moved me, she said, her voice suddenly urgent. I think I was drugged. I woke up in a house that isn't mine. There's a kitchen, a staircase, and windows that don't open. It's like a set, a fake house. Like I'm supposed to think I'm safe, but I'm not. They're outside the window again. One of them just tilted its head at me. I didn't know what to say. I paced in circles. Why would they let you use the phone? I don't think they meant to, she whispered. It was in the drawer, hidden. There was a label on the screen. For emergency. This is an emergency, right? My mouth was dry. Do you see any street signs? Anything? I tried to open the door, she said. It's not locked, but every time I step outside, they move closer. And not like people move, it's jerky. Like bad animation. And then they stop and stare. Marley growled suddenly and faced the front door. I turned, and then it happened. A soft knock. 3 quick taps. I muted the phone and walked slowly to the door. No peephole. No camera. I whispered into the phone. Someone just knocked here. The woman went completely silent. Then she said, they can move. Between places. They're not bound by space the way we are. What the hell are they? I asked. I don't know, she cried. But they like games. They like fear. They feed off it. I think they let me call you to scare you. To connect us. Now they're with you too. Another knock. This time, the window was behind me. Marley barked, and I turned. And there it was. A white face. No eyes. No mouth. Just a mask. Watching. Then it was gone. I dropped the phone. When I picked it up again, the line was still open. They're inside now, she whispered. I hear them on the stairs. I didn't even realize I had tears streaming down my face. I'm calling the cops, I said. You won't get through, she replied. But try. Please. Try. And if you survive the night, don't ever answer unknown numbers again. Then I heard a gasp, like wind being sucked out of a room. Then silence. Then the line went dead. The phone went dead. And the room fell into the kind of silence that isn't just quiet.it hums with threat. I was shaking. Marley's hackles were still raised, growling at the door. I moved away from the windows, my brain trying to process too much at once. What the hell was that call? A prank? A game? Or was it something else? Something I wasn't supposed to understand? I reached for my landline. Yes, I still have one. And dialed 911. I listened to the ringing, counting the seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, click, a voice answered. But it wasn't the usual dispatcher's voice. It was the same woman from the phone. "You weren't supposed to do that." I froze, phone trembling in my hand. "Who are you?" I asked, my voice barely more than a breath. The voice repeated, colder this time. "You weren't supposed to do that." I slammed the phone down, heart racing. My head was spinning. The cell phone in my other hand buzzed again. Same unknown number. I stared at it. Didn't answer. Then Marley whimpered and bolted to the back room, tail tucked. That was all it took. I grabbed my keys, my hoodie, and didn't even put on shoes. I ran out the front door, locked it behind me, and got in the car. I didn't care where I was going. I just had to go. I drove for maybe 10 minutes before I finally started to calm down. I pulled into a gas station, parked under the floodlights, and locked the doors. Only then did I look at my phone again. No new messages. No missed calls. The call log? Gone. The number wasn't even there. Not in recent. Not blocked. Not anywhere. It was like the call never happened. But it did. I knew it did. I felt it in my chest, in my bones. I stayed at the gas station for a while, pretending to scroll social media, pretending to laugh at memes just to remind myself I was in the real world, that people existed, that I wasn't losing my mind. Eventually, I went back home. Nothing was broken. Marley had calmed down. I checked every closet, every room, every window. All clear. I didn't sleep that night. The next day, I searched for news stories. A woman is missing. White masks. Anything. I found a few creepypastas, some Reddit threads, but nothing verifiable. Nothing real. At least, nothing the media would call real. But then, 4 days later, something strange happened. I was walking Marley through the neighborhood. It was around dusk, and we passed by an abandoned house a few blocks away. One of those old properties with a broken porch swing and windows boarded up from the inside. I usually avoided it. But that day, Marley pulled hard on the leash, barking wildly at the front steps. And that's when I saw it. Lying on the porch was a phone. Not just any phone. That same model. That strange, featureless gray casing. I walked closer, heart pounding, and picked it up. It was warm. No dust. No fingerprints. Just one thing on the screen. A contact. The name? You. I nearly dropped it. Before I could move, the screen changed. A new text appeared. You answered once. Will you answer again? I ran. I didn't tell anyone. Who would believe me? But sometimes, late at night when I'm home alone, the phone I never use buzzes. And the number? Still unknown. Still untraceable. I haven't picked up since. But I think about her. That woman. Her whisper. Her warning. And every time I hear a knock at the door, I wonder if I'm already playing their game again. Story 3. It started in early spring. That weird in-between time when winter is almost gone, but the air still carries a bite. I had just moved into a quiet rental home outside of town. A place with a big backyard and a white picket fence that stretched along the back edge of the property. Beyond the fence was a patch of woods, bare trees, and fallen branches. Quiet and still. My neighbors told me no one lived back there, not for miles. It's peaceful, the landlord had said when I first visited. Safe for kids, safe for pets, and even better for your peace of mind. I believed him. And for a while, it was exactly that. Peaceful, but only for a while. The first time I saw him was on a Thursday afternoon. I was sipping coffee by the kitchen window, staring out at the backyard when something shifted in the trees beyond the fence. I didn't think much of it at first. Probably a deer or a big dog. But then I saw it again. A man, standing completely still, half hidden behind a tree, facing my house. He wasn't doing anything, just watching. I blinked, and he was gone. I walked outside, trying not to panic. I scanned the fence line, the trees, the brush. Nothing. I told myself it was just a trick of the light, a shadow. Maybe my own mind was playing games because I was tired from unpacking and adjusting. I didn't even mention it to anyone. What would I say? Hey, I saw a man in the woods for half a second. It sounded ridiculous. But the next day he was there again. Same spot, same posture, same eerie stillness. And then, later that night, I found footprints. They weren't mine. They weren't the neighbor kids. And they definitely weren't from an animal. They were large, deep, and led from the back fence all the way to my bedroom window. That's when I called the police. They showed up, walked the yard, and checked the woods with flashlights. Nothing. No one. Probably some local kids messing around, one of them said. But we'll keep an eye on it. They left, and I was alone again. And even though I locked every door, shut every curtain, and kept Marley, my German Shepherd, close by, I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was still watching. 2 nights later, I was proven right. I was half asleep when I heard a noise outside. A tapping. Soft. Rhythmic. Like fingers drumming on glass. I sat up, heart pounding. Marley was already growling, pacing the floor by the window. The tapping continued. I crept to the curtain, pulled it back just an inch, and I swear I stopped breathing. He was there, right outside, just a few feet away. His face was inches from the window, expressionless, pale, with deep-set eyes that didn't blink, and in his hand was something metal, a hook, or maybe a tool. I couldn't tell. I backed away slowly, grabbed my phone, and dialed 911. I whispered my address. The dispatcher stayed on the line. I waited, frozen, clutching Marley's collar. The man didn't move. Not until he heard the faint wail of sirens in the distance. That's when he turned and disappeared into the woods. The police came again. This time, they took it seriously. They searched the area, set up cameras, and promised to patrol more often. They asked if I had enemies, if I was being followed, if I'd noticed anyone new in town. But I hadn't. No one. And nothing turned up on the cameras. Every night for a week I watched the feed, and every night, nothing. Until the following Friday. It was 2:43 a.m. when my phone buzzed with a notification. Motion detected. I opened the app, and there he was. On the feed, standing at the back fence again. Still, silent. And this time, holding something in his left hand. A bag. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, he was gone. I called the cops again, but they were starting to get skeptical. "You sure this isn't a prank?" one asked. "Nobody's found prints, and the guy never breaks in." I almost screamed, as if that made it okay. As if watching from the woods with a bag at 2 a.m. was just harmless fun. I started sleeping with the lights on. I bought a second camera, set it facing the woods. I even started bringing Marley with me to work. I didn't feel safe leaving him alone. But no matter what I did, he always returned. Just for a moment, long enough to be seen, long enough to make sure I knew he was still there. Then, it escalated. I came home one evening to find the back gate wide open. The lock snapped clean off. Marley growled like crazy the moment we stepped in. I checked the cameras, but the feed was corrupted. Static and blackness for the last 3 hours. As I walked through the house, I found something lying on the kitchen table. Not a note, not a threat, a photograph. A photo of me, sleeping. It was taken from outside the window, but close. Too close. The quality was crisp. Too crisp. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch with the lights on, shotgun nearby, phone in hand. Marley lay at my feet, ears alert, occasionally growling at shadows that weren't moving. Around 3:17 a.m., I heard it. Not a tap this time. A creak. The floorboard outside the hallway. I froze. My heart slammed against my ribs. I aimed the shotgun toward the hallway and yelled, "I'm armed! Get out!" No answer. Then the front door burst open, and it was the police. They stormed in, weapons drawn, shouting. I dropped the gun and hit the floor. Later, they explained, a neighbor had called them, saying they saw someone sneaking around the property. They thought it was me, up to something, but I hadn't even left the living room. Then one officer asked me to step outside. He pointed to the woods. Hanging from the tree, barely visible in the moonlight, was a doll, made of sticks and cloth with a crude face drawn in black ink. I wore my hoodie, and tied around its neck was my dog's collar. I looked down at Marley. He was still at my side, safe, but trembling. That was the final straw. I moved out the next day. I didn't wait for a lease to expire. I packed everything I owned and drove 3 states away. New job, new number, new everything. But sometimes, even now, I feel it. That pressure, that sense of being watched. And once in a while, just once in a blue moon, I'll find a photo slipped into my mailbox. Always black and white. Always recent. Always of me.